Hey guys, what's up? This is A Gamer. Today I'm be telling you about what not to do when you build an ark. So, do not ever build in stone. It's too easy to upgrade to metal, and wood actually provides more explosive building, why it takes two to blow into a wood building. I'm counting this off the foundation. I did not test the walls. I'm sorry about that. Um, Number two. This is tip number two. Never build a greenhouse on or near your base. These provide excellent cover for raiders, and they can take them out from range with a long neck. This makes it very easy for someone to see that on top of your base, shoot a hole in it, fly in it, and then be able to raid your base from there. Tip number three, never have your wiring showing. The easiest way to fix this is to um, either use a ladder or elevator track to line up the wiring inside your base, but I believe you have to sink a foundation before you can do that. You might have to look up a video because I'm not quite familiar with how that works. But, not one of the builders in the tribe. Number four, never use catwalks. Use giant hatch frames. They're the pretty much best thing you can use because if you use catwalks, they leave a lot of blank spots because they can't shoot through the other catwalks. While giant hatch frames are thinner and just a little bigger, so it doesn't have to be placed every foundation instead of every three foundation. It just makes it where you don't block as much of your turrets. Tip number five, never build with pillars. So if you use pillars under your base, it leaves a lot of area that your turrets cannot cover. So if someone gets under there, instead of your inner turrets being able to stop them, they're pretty much useless with all the pillars for cover down there. So yeah, I would not recommend that. Um, Tip number six: never build one huge box. So medium-sized boxes that are like 30 foundations by 30 foundations, or maybe even 50 by 50, are okay. But when you get those ones that are like 100 by 50 or something like that, it's stupid because someone can just get into one part of your base and then raid the rest of your base from that. Because they can just walk right through your whole base with one giant box. There's no real threat once they get in. Sure, you can have turrets, but those are easily taken care of inside of a smaller area. Tip number seven: never have just one generator. This is a mistake I see a lot of bigger tribes make. You can just blow up their one generator and then there's no backups. So I would recommend running your whole base off one generator, but then having backup generators to fill in. Running your whole base off one generator just makes it where you don't have to worry about gas as much. So, tip number eight. This is one I still haven't convinced my tribe about, which I'm working on. Um, Never set all turrets to one setting. So if you set them all to, let's say, player only, and mounted dinos, or survivor only, then people can just put C4 on dodos or something and drop them on top of your base and easily blow in. Or turtles, for that matter. That's one of the reasons I haven't convinced them, is someone can just soak those with a turtle and then drop the things to blow in either way. But yeah, that's the problem with this meta, is someone can just drop C4 turtles or whatever on your base and blow in, as long as they don't have a rider on them. So tip number nine: X plants are not poor man's turrets; they are the rich man's backbones. So what this means is, although X plants, yeah, they're something you get really early game, but they completely devastate soaking dinos. If you have like a 20 of these compared to 20 turrets, if someone's trying to soak, they will do a lot more damage. But the only difference is you need turrets to stop people from being able to rush up. So a mixture of these is amazing for defense. Um, Tip number 10: don't build a base without inner turrets. So always have some kind of turrets inside. This will stop people from being able to sneak in somehow, and then be able to just pillage your base from the inside without ever having to deal with your turrets. Because there's always some way for someone to get into your base. It's just a matter of if you're prepared to combat it. Um, so don't have unturreted structures near your main base. This means, like, if you have like your greenhouse or something, don't put it near your main base, and anything that people can easily use for cover. You don't want that, and it's just complete fault in your base. It's like the worst thing you could do. Um, so tip number 12 goes along with the first one. Don't have blind spots near your base. Something that people could hide behind. Tames are very common to be used for this. Just try and make sure you have as little of these as possible. They're really hard to avoid, but yeah. Rocks can be used as this. If someone knows the terrain that they're raiding, they can actually use refertilizer to grow back the terrain. So you can't really stop that, but yeah. Um, Tip number 13, I believe. Do not build on low ground. Always take the high ground. So if people build like in this video right here below this cliff, I could just walk something off and go right on top of their base. But if they took the top of it, I'd have to face them from one direction with my soaking things. This makes it a lot easier to focus ammo where it's most needed and just do a better defense. Tip number 14. If you're new to Ark, you should not get anywhere near the obelisk with your base. Get as far away from them as possible in high traffic areas. So, yeah, just try and avoid those if you're new or a smaller tribe, or you just don't want griefed, because that's where everyone looks for the noobs and just a place to have fun. Not a good place to be at. Um, Tip number 15. Although caves are really tempting, they are not any bit hidden. Everyone knows about the caves. Everyone checks the caves because noobs go there to build thinking they are stronger. And in reality, they're just 6 times damage. It's saving us the C4. Don't do it. Actually, please do. I do like the idea of only using 1 C4 to blow up your whole base versus like 6. So, never mind. I take this back. Do build in the caves. Just, tell me where it's at. That way I can come get the free loot, okay? Thanks, guys. Um, Tip number 17. Never build on the beach or too close to the beach, because someone can use a suicide raft to just blow in. What that means is they put C4 on a thatch raft or something and walk and just drive it right up to your wall and blow it up. Turrets cannot stop them. There's nothing that can defend your water base against offline raiding. So yeah, instead of having to soak your turrets or give you any bit of a warning, it takes them 3 seconds to build a raft. They sail up, blow in, end of story. That's it. Um, Tip number 18. Never build near the beach or any big landmarks. That's where people go to find you. So if they're looking for noobs, they'll look by big landmarks and the beach. Anything that would attract newer people. It's nice scenery, but not exactly good for hiding. Um, Tip number 19. Don't use behemoth gates as an outer wall. They make a little too much cover for raiders. These things are just too big and bulky, and overall they provide no defense for the base, just cover for the raiders. They, I mean, they're pretty much as much health as a wall, so a regular metal wall would provide just as much defense and a lot less cover. But what I'd recommend doing is just putting turret towers up around to defend. Um, Last tip, this is going to be the end of the video. Never have lined up dinos right against your base. They can be used for cover and can block turrets. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. See ya.